What's up, everybody? It's your man Devious Imaad coming to you once again on a Tuesday. This is ImRealDvs. What's up to Shelly in the room? What's up to Daniel Lee White, Ira Thomas? That's Shelly perfectly out. Shelly perfectly 8 months. Sean, Atiba. Sorry about that. My apologies to everybody. I'm not sure what happened. I think Facebook I don't know what happened. I'm not even going to speculate. We're just going to get back into what we were talking about. And Joy was in the middle of introducing our guest for today.
Our guest for this evening is going to be helping us unravel some of the questions and answers regarding sex versus gender. We met during VMA weekend when it was here in Newark, the VMAs. Shout out to MTV and the city of Newark. Please allow me to introduce to some and present to others. Respect 92.
Come on in, yes. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. So, today we are talking about sex and gender. I'm going to try and center this just a little bit more to make sure we get you in. There we go. We're talking about sex and gender today. A lot of people use those synonymously, and they're not. We in our society, we ascribe a lot of importance to things that we ascribe a meaning to things, and that's how we do most things. That's how we keep definition. That's how we keep meaning. That's how we keep markers in our lives, things like that. There are some things that are mutable. There are some things that are changeable, and we are just beginning to understand gender. We know what sex is.
And I'll jump in and say we Westerners are just coming to terms with some of the ideas and principles surrounding gender and sex that has been well known and well subscribed to in other parts of the world and even in other time periods. All this stuff kind of seems new to people. I'm gonna be honest, like all this new revolution, the LGBT, the kids, all
brand new, this, that, and the third, yada yada yada.
You don't want to hear this part, but historically,
Go ahead.
Historically, gender and sex have been, I don't want to say fluid, but that's one of my favorite words when we talk about this. Gender, sex, sexuality have been on a broader spectrum than what we're used to. And I'll use the word spectrum because that's the most appropriate term. As much as, like you said, we would like to ascribe to concrete one or the other, the reality of it is that's not how it goes.
Now, let's so that we know what we're talking about, let's get into definition. Gender, we're going to start with gender. No, actually, let's start with sex, the most basic of all things. Noun, the first definition, chiefly with reference to people, sexual activity, including specifically sexual intercourse. They enjoy talking about sex. Synonym, sexual intercourse, love making, making love, sex act, sexual relations, sexual vaginal, anal penetration, yada. Second definition, either of the two main categories, in parentheses, male and female, into which humans and most other living things are divided on the basis of their reproductive function. That's what sex is. Sex is not my beard.
I hope not, because I don't want sex to be mine. You understand what I'm saying?
Sex is not whether I carry a bag or a wallet. Sex is not all of these. We ascribe so many different things to sex, and that has nothing to do with sex. It has to do with gender. And we place way too much importance on gender because we are just beginning to understand gender. And some of the things that we ascribe to gender are so meaningless. They're baseless. Let's get into what gender is because we're talking about it. Either of the two sexes, male and female, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones.
Read the last part again about rather.
Yeah, because I need everybody to understand that.
For the people in the back.
Either of the two sexes, in parentheses, male and female, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural references rather than biological ones.
So speaking of biological ones, I can feel it in your spirit. I'll go ahead and bring you in particularly
Is she boiling
on this
over
point.
there?
Just a smidge.
The pie is a little...
Only because we had a conversation similar to what we're having now when I brought up the topic for tonight's show I'll let you go ahead if you want to go ahead and tell us what we talked about and how you're feeling now about what we're talking about.
I'm gonna be honest and truthful.
Speak a little louder, please.
I'm gonna be honest and truthful. Like the way I feel about this subject is, like you said, it's pointless. Like, cause at the end of the day, you are yourself. You are in charge of yourself, so you know what you are. Like as for social, RuPaul, you say she, but at the end of the day, RuPaul was once born a he, which that comes to what?
Damn.
Like,
that's the sex.
That's it right there. Is what you identify as. That's where labels come in at. But if you just live your life, you ain't gotta worry about labels.
Do you have a label?
No, not really. A lot of people consider me like a salad, but I'm a verse.
For the people in the cheap seats.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, because this is really an education for some.
I know it is, but for those some, let's say hi to the some.
Hey, some. You already know.
I love my friends. Listen, what's up to Shelly? What's up to Peace Relief? What's up to Ebony, Simone, Holly Rock, Atiba, Donna Blake, everybody that's watching. There's 8 other people. I'm not sure who else is out there, but everybody, what's going on? Shout out to Ebony. She is the moderator in the room. If y'all got any questions, y'all make sure y'all get it, Ebony. She's going to be handling everybody's shout outs and everything in there. All questions in there. Yes. There she go. What else was I about to say? Shout out to Tanya Champagne.
False.
Absolutely. And share the video. We need y'all to share the video. And everybody who is watching this from the ImRealDvs group, I need y'all to go to the YouTube page.
And subscribe.
Just hit the subscribe button. You can turn off the notifications if you want to. I really don't care.
It's still free.
Just go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page. I need you to subscribe to the YouTube page.
What I think we should start doing is putting some exclusive content on the YouTube.
It is. All
of it?
No.
I'm too busy making the YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't give me the side eye. I'm too busy making the YouTube to check it out, and I should be better at that. But let's do some exclusive.
Absolutely, we will be. So y'all watch out for that. But we gonna get back into this conversation after y'all subscribe to the YouTube page and share this now, and tag your friends. Like 92 said, a lot of us, many of us, and who you can be part of us. I'm not making us exclusive to anyone, but many of us, people who mind their business. I'm gonna start with that. People who don't get into what's going on in someone else's clothing. People who don't get into what's going on. Yeah, absolutely. I was getting to the bedroom, but I wanted to start with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not inside my clothes, don't worry about what's inside my clothes.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? If you treat me well, until you know what I'm saying? Until we get to the point where we have to have a conversation about that. Obviously. But if we out on the street or something like that, don't worry about what's in my clothes. Go ahead. Yes, this is the internet.
Okay, if you ain't feeding me, fucking me, or financially me, you can't say shit to me. And even if you is, I am my own person. At the end of the day, I came in this world by myself. Whether I had a twin or not, I came out by myself.
Got both hands squeezed out of that.
Yeah, you feel me? Oh, Jesus. So now I don't have a twin. But at the end of the day, I am responsible for myself. If you out here and you get locked up, you are responsible for yourself. Every action has a reaction. Every cause has an effect. So whatever I do, it's on me. You cannot dictate what and who I sleep with and what and how I present myself. I feel comfortable in this. But yet again, some days I'm like, you know, when it's that time I'm a shit. Like, but any other time I got coworkers at work, they be like, yo, Vincent, but my real name starts with a V. My name is not, like, it's just all about how you feel and if you feel comfortable. If you identify with it, Queen Latifah said it best. Who you calling a bitch? If it's acapella, it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but if it's in a song, it's okay.
Did y'all get that? I hope you got that.
Gotcha.
I want to ask you a question. You identified, as you said, people identify you sometimes as a stud. You don't put labels on yourself, but obviously, from the way that you present yourself, you have faced, let me not assume, have you faced is the question, obstacles or people not minding their business when you're out in public or making, adverse commentary or anything like that?
Yeah, I have like even family wise, you know, they make little comments, but at the
Get into it. Get into it.
You had to give everybody had to get comfortable. Everybody had to get comfortable.
like you have you like I'm not gonna like my family is they come like even if they are watching like my family they are very spiritual. You feel me? So my lifestyle and how I dress is not their usual. But yet again, I could switch up and I could dress like a femme.
Speaking of switching up, let's talk about the switch up because as we talk about sex and gender and the things that we believe about it, I want to talk to my straight people. I want to talk to my homophobes because a lot of people misunderstand us when we switch up. A lot of people say they don't like the switch up, and I'm gonna say because now we have a situation where Malik Yoba is saying I like trans girls and that's what it is. So talk about the switch up. Why and how you switch up and the reaction that you get at the switch up. Do you get, like you said, an adverse reaction when you switch it up?
Okay, so anybody that's from the Brick City and they see me on the block, they know respect. They know Big Sexy. They see me out here. They know how I dress. I dress really more aggressive, more manly. I cover myself. For instance, yesterday I had an incident where I dressed a little bit more feminine, not provocative, but more feminine. And I got assaulted on Broad and Market.
Are you serious?
Yes, a man came up behind me and he kissed me on my neck and he's touching, grabbing on me, and I beat his ass. I almost got arrested. Word him up. I'm not, and the thing is, I am not gonna let that make me. But at the end of the day, the reason why I wear cargo shorts, because I feel comfortable. I keep a lot of shit in my pocket. I don't like pocketbooks. I keep a book bag because I'm always on the move and it get cold outside, I got a sweater. Like, it's about how I feel comfortable. Not about how you feel comfortable, how you feel when you want to see me.
Boom. Not about how you feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. It's about how I feel comfortable. Yeah, I caught that.
At the end of the day, you might say, oh, Viv, you might be a stud. Respect, you might be a femme. At the end of the day, I'm a human. I'm a homo sapien. I'm a Scorpio.
Boom. That's more important than what's going on. You might need to know that. You might need to know that. For real. Like
ahead of time.
Yeah.
So you don't get in trouble.
Is this about how you feel?
And people don't understand how uncomfortable you make other people feel when you might think it's an innocent comment. You might think it's an innocent comment sometimes, or an innocent action. You might think that the attention that you're giving is you might think you're flattering somebody. Everybody not flattered by your attention. Everybody not flattered by your attention. And especially the way that I see men most times. But I'm gonna get into that too. Just give me a second. Men most times and most aggressively, the way that they approach women, the way that they call out to women, the way that they address women publicly.
It's not even just women, it's the way men grab on men. I done seen it.
But you know what too?
I done seen females grab on females too.
I was about to say, and that's the thing. It's a personal violation, period. Whether it's male and female, female and female doing it to a male, because I've had it done several times. It's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. I don't like women coming up, unless you're a personal friend of mine and we play like that, and you know that we play like that. There's no doubt in your mind. If you drunk in the bar and you come up to do that to me, it's very uncomfortable. I don't like it. The reason I tolerate it is because I work there and I don't want to lose my job by spitting in your face, slapping you, pulling your weave off or something like that. You know, I be trying to keep my composure is what I'm saying. I be just trying to handle my. You know what I'm saying? Because it can happen when you have people doing that to you real often. You get tired of that shit. I've had people walk up to me and grab my nipples in the club. I've had people walk up, grab my ass in the club. Like, don't do that. Like, you really shouldn't do that. You don't know where I'm at that day.
Right. But
like, spiritually, with myself. I could be having an argument with myself in the club and you interrupting this argument, and now you caught in the middle of a fight you ain't know nothing about. You know what? Male or female, it's not even my hands you got to worry about, because at some point I'm gonna stop hitting you because I don't want to kill you. So it's not my hands that you really got to worry about. What you need to worry about is what the fuck I'm gonna say to you.
I'm gonna tear that ass up.
Because I'm gonna say something to you that's gonna not only hurt your feelings, it's gonna hurt your kids' feelings. It's gonna hurt your mother's feelings. It's gonna hurt feelings you didn't know you had yet. So you shouldn't do that. You don't know where somebody is. But getting back to gender, I kind of tangented a little bit. Getting back to gender, in the workplace, oftentimes, and I've heard men say, like, if a woman comes up and grabs a man, a lot of men will say, well, I've had men have, well, that you lucky that, you know, they always, no. Everybody don't want that. I don't like men to do it either.
I don't know nobody that do want somebody just walking up on them grabbing on them.
Yeah, you don't. Okay, so I was in the store today.
So you got the papers?
I do. Because I was in a store today, in this particular store, the employees, their shirts were red. Okay, so there are two people in front of me. There are two men, specifically, males, in front of me in line. There is a female behind the counter. Obviously, she works there. She has on a red shirt. The second guy, who's directly in front of me, there was a guy in front of him, asked the woman behind the counter, he was flirting with her, I guess, the whole time. He said, what's your name? She said, red shirt. There's a line full of people. The store is packed.
This must have been red shirt and union. Because the red shirts and union to tell you that in the middle.
Listen, it was severe. I felt bad for him. But that's what you get.
You set yourself up for failure.
Well, why a man can't shoot his shot? What's wrong with that?
No, it's not shooting your shot. It's the way you do it.
Okay, I can give you an example. Again, I have many jobs. And one of my jobs is I'm a sales associate and a clothing store for females.
Mm-hmm.
I had these two guys come in the store, and well, I didn't have them, but they walked in, and one of them was like, "Yo, I'm 31, I'm single," and he was like, "You must be from Amazon because you gorgeously." And I'm like, yo, my man, it's a female store, and you coming in here and that's your pickup line? Like, are you kidding? You're not about to do this right now, bro. You're not about to sit here and have all these females not want to come back up in here because that make us feel as though you be here all the time. You that comfortable. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not about to do that. Like, that is so disrespectful. And like, I ain't gonna lie, the girl was dying laughing. But she didn't give him no place. She was like, yo, that's not how you talk to me.
You whack for that.
So I had to show myself, I'm like, yo, sweetheart, like, what's up with you? How you doing? You want to go out to dinner?
What's
she was like, that. She was
what's
like,
up with you work?
Like, she
I don't care what gender you are, what sex you are. Taking it back, you heard me right?
Uh-huh.
Like my segue.
Well, listen.
What's up with you work? Shout out to what's up with you because it works.
It
do.
It's just that simple.
As soon as he buy that wine, I just pick her from behind and ask you what your interests are. Who you be with? Things that make you smile.
Without a doubt. Same thing make me smile, don't you know no good.
There's another thing that I want you guys to consider. Like, I've heard oftentimes, particularly most often I've heard it in the workplace where I worked in an office environment for years. And you know, everybody comes to work, they put up their pictures of their husband, their wives, their kids, everything. I don't have a husband. I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. That's going to happen. So I didn't have, you know, pictures of that. So I had pictures, like, if I saw a picture of the magazine, the dude I like, put that up over my desk, over my overhead.
Oh, the vision board?
Yeah. What? You got to visualize. So... So I would have, you know, pictures occasionally, whatever. Everybody else got their kids, their dog, whatever. And people would, when my supervisor came over and asked me to take the pictures down. Ooh. And I was like, okay. I get it. No, mine were a little bit extra, of course. This is me we're talking about. So it was a little bit extra. So that I got. But, you know, anybody that was clothed completely, she didn't say anything about. But it was the other workers who would say things, you know, just in general conversation, not specifically about my pictures, but just in general conversation. You're like, you know, when you're talking about most specifically gay people, well, I don't mind as long as, you know, I don't want to see you walking down the street holding hands, but y'all walk down the street holding hands. You don't have to put it in our face. Like, you don't have to have all little pictures up, but y'all have the pictures up. Like, you don't realize how often we're reminded of your heterosexuality.
And you don't realize
In
how
every
often we don't give a fuck. We
But-
are
no,
not
but what I'm saying
thinking
is-
about y'all ass.
But hold on, we're gonna get to that in a second. But what I'm saying is, when you have people, particularly young kids, who are struggling with an identity, period, a gender identity, and there's nothing in society for them to identify with
I think
that
you
they
have
can
to
associate
stop.
their feelings with, it makes it very difficult for them to be comfortable anywhere in society.
But this is where the problem comes in, DVS. Adults who have problems with who they are and their sexuality, be it sexuality or, they weren't the prom queen, are the adults that push those same issues onto their children. There are people, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong, I'm just going to say there are people who believe that children are not gay, shouldn't be exposed to homosexuality.
Wow.
We teaching them this, we showing them that.
Wow.
They're not understanding. I'm not gonna wait for you.
Go ahead.
They're not understanding that developmentally these things occur in our children. That's just what it is. Just like these heterosexual, like you said, these heterosexual kids know they're heterosexual when they're kids. You know they're heterosexual when they're kids. You want them to be heterosexual when they're kids. And all the heterosexuality in your house can't make them heterosexual. So then where else could it come from? Let's just be honest. It's not because they've seen you and your husband, you and their father, you and uncle, you and $40, whatever they saw. It wasn't enough to make them straight, right? So then maybe, just maybe it's something in the wiring. I'm going to stop there. But when it comes to sex and gender and kids, like you said, they have to see these things not as a possibility, because it's similar to suicide. I can't suggest you like dudes if you don't. But if it's there and you can't see it, just like if you want to be a ballerina and you can't see it, or you want to be an astronaut and you can't see it, you can't see it for yourself until you can see it. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying I want somebody's 8-year-old to see me kissed up in the corner with a chick, but if they can see you kissed up in the corner with a dude, they gonna be all right.
I posted a video in the ImRealDvs group about a week ago, I think it was. And I also posted it on my Instagram, and to me, it was funny. I thought the shit was funny as hell.
This
So,
funny about
the lions. It was the lions.
the lions.
So, okay, it was two lions. They were both male. One male lion was mounting the other male lion, and a female lion walked up. The male lion is one male lion lying on the ground. The other one is on top of him, doing that thing they do when they start scratching. You know what I'm talking about. So the female lion walks up. The top lion got off and chased her away, and then came back to finish his business. And I'm cracking up because it reminded me of a story when I worked downtown at Blue Cross and Blue Shield. For those of you who live in the city of Newark, you know Arcadia Flores. I don't know if it's still there, but
No, it's not.
unfortunately, it's landmark downtown Newark, Central Avenue and Broad Street. Years, florists, and they had parakeets in the ceiling, hanging in a cage from the ceiling. Walked in there one day, and there were the two parakeets, one mounted the other. I can't tell a female bird from a male bird by looking at
I
it.
can tell a chicken anytime I see one.
I'm gonna cluck you in the throat in a second.
Cluck you.
So I asked the lady, I'm like, are they doing what I think they're doing? The lady was like, yeah, we gotta send them back though, because that's the two males.
Send them back to where?
The eggs. I don't know. I don't know where she was sending these birds back to. But I say all that to say that if the animals are doing it, and we're animals, on a very, very biological level. I'm not talking about our thinking or anything like that, but some of you think like animals. But anyway.
No, I'm about to say I am, man.
Yeah, you catch me on a Wednesday. But
it's Tuesday, bro.
So I say all that to say there are things like when I was growing up, National Geographic didn't cover those types of things. When they showed reproduction in nature, it was always male. Well, let me not say reproduction. When they showed mating in nature, it was always male and female mating. And it wasn't until later when they started showing shows.
And I was around for later.
Yeah, when they started showing the males that couple up, like the penguins sometimes, and
that little seahorse that is asexual or something like that. They reproduce with themselves.
There are a lot of reptiles and things that switch sex depending on the environment. If there aren't enough females, they will switch from, if there's too many females, some of the females will switch to male.
That's the same.
And it's a
It's the
biological
same
thing.
thing with humans, though. That we used to be like back in the day. And they even said it, that certain tribes in Africa didn't have male.
There were 3 or 4 genders,
Yeah,
not sexes,
yeah.
but genders. And that was even on this continent. I'm still up in the air about what to call this continent, so I'm not even getting on that. But on this continent, if look up Two-Spirited people. It's a whole thing. And they were revered in the
And
tribe.
still are where this comes from. Still are in Eastern Asia. Still are on that side of the world. That's why when we began the show, I said, us Westerners. Because in the East, these, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Don't stop me. The way we treat our trans community here would never be tolerated someplace else. These people that we look down on and we disdain are goddesses in other places, are literally spiritually revered, like you said, with healing powers and respected in the community, gold and diamonds, like they're respected. Where here, we already know how we treat them. So, like I said, it goes back to biology, it goes back to history, and it goes to geography, because over here, we've been westernized, we've been Christianized, we've been a lot of eyes here.
But not just here. I must say that there are portions there are countries in the world, parts of the world where people who, and first of all, let me say this before I finish this thought. I'm gonna get back. Just say Uganda. I'm gonna get back to this thought. I can't imagine too many people who wake up in the morning and say, "Let me be one of the most hated things in society," and walk outside my door.
Oh, and let me put on this makeup.
To draw attention to
my
myself.
beard and do it.
To draw attention to myself so that I can be a spectacle. And I'm not saying that the trans community is a spectacle. What I'm saying is there are levels of acceptance and people try different things and they go out into society to see how they are going to be accepted, to see how much pushback they are going to get, to see if they are going to survive.
Black, to see how white men color, how Caucasian gentlemen color themselves black or with brown like makeup or contour, themselves so they can look like us, or they tan themselves. For example, Mr. Trump, you know what I'm saying? So everybody want to look like a piece of fried chicken. You know what I'm saying?
Finger looking good. Finger looking good.
None of it's good. Throw the whole thing away. Throw the whole thing away. But as I was saying before that, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, "Let me go outside and be the biggest spectacle." Let me not say nobody, because there are some fools who do that.
Come through.
But
and nobody likes those fools. We don't like those fools.
We all in agreement on that.
Listen,
we all in on those
fools.
We all in agreement on that. But for the people who honestly are just trying to find their niche in the world, and there are many niches, them being in their niche does not take away from your niche. Stay in your niche. Niche. Stay in your niche. It doesn't take away from you to do that. It doesn't take away from you to let somebody else be them. So Uganda is what I was saying. Yeah, because I don't want people to think that we're just trying to make it seem like this is the best. No, you go to Uganda.
Oh my God, the list is closed. There's no waiting list. We are not recruiting.
No, we are not making any more black cards.
We full up. The gays don't want. I'm telling you, we don't need to recruit.
If you're not born with the mark, I'm not talking about the beast. I'm talking about the fabulosity. That's what I'm talking about. That's a whole different mark. But anyway, you go to a place like Uganda and they'll kill you. Period. And not even on knowing, but on a belief. Somebody can say, they can see you around such and such who they believe. And it's the wall.
Jamaica.
Many, many places. Jamaica has a history and there's a whole culture, and it comes from, unfortunately, slavery. And that's a whole other show. That's a history lesson, and they were tortured. That's where they used to send people from the East Coast when the slaves wouldn't act right. They would send them into the Caribbean to plantations to be broken. Yeah. So that's what they were doing, and that was one of the ways that they were breaking them, by buck breaking, which was bending them over in front of their friends, families, and communities. to show that they were dominant. Unfortunately, that has nothing to do with sexuality though. Those are animals being animals. That's what that animal shit is. That has nothing to do with sexuality. Like, I forget who I was talking to the other day. We were talking one of my favorite stories to hate, coming from any biblical text, the story of Lot.
Shout outs to Lot.
Was it Lot? No. I'm thinking Sodom. No, story of Lot. The angels.
It was Lot.
Right. I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm not even a fan. But if you know the story, you know the story. The angels, the town people thought they were beautiful. They came to rape them. People associate.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
So they might have been in Sodom and Gomorrah, but it was definitely Lot what had them people come in the house.
If you know what it is and I'm wrong, and I apologize, but you know the story. I'm calling it by the wrong name. I wrote it by any other name. Right. So people associate that with homosexuality, but it's not about homosexuality at all. It's about rape. And if your mind makes those two one thing, you have the problem.
Oh my God. Can I tell you?
Please do. That's what you do.
Like, I'm sorry, I really don't mean to switch the subject, but with that story alone, I had to tell a lot of people about the story because, again, what is the difference from rape and sex? Consensual.
Consent.
Consent, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is the difference from? Let me see, because we had this conversation, and my man said I had to let him know, like, bruh, it's all about consent. Like, you have to ask. In the Bible, it says you have to ask. Seek, knock.
Ask and you shall receive. Knock and the door will be open.
Seek, you shall find. The word ask.
Mm-hmm.
Right? With that, rape is all about consent. It's all about permission. You feel me? So when you pray, you ask God to rain down what blessings on you, right? You ask Him permission. When you walk to work, you like, God bless me. You ask Him permission. When you go to use the bathroom, you ask your teacher permission. It's all about permission. So now it's about bringing it back to us. Why are you permitting other people to put labels on you? Just live your life and be your own sexuality, or be the man. You guys give yourself permission to be who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about being gay. It's not about being straight. It's not about none of this. All it's about is who you identify as, not what nobody else is. Because all that's causing anxiety, depression, stress, because you're trying to fit in. Kids are killing themselves. This is a bullying.
Thank you.
All that has to stop. Once you identify who the hell you are, other motherfuckers don't matter. Boom. Time to drop the mic. Boom.
There it goes.
Boom. Because I had to sit there and think about it. I was going through that. I was stressing so much about fitting in and living up to people's expectations.
Wow.
I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I'm 26 with no kids. I should be traveling the world. I should be doing. Man, I was 23 in Vegas. I was 16 in Philly. Like, I don't been back and forth to North Carolina, Florida, Virginia. Like, and I'm like, yo, like, but who does that matter to? But me. It's my memories. If I want to remember. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So live your life. Like, stop living with other people saying, like, shoot, if you feel like you want to walk in the man bathroom, you walk in the motherfucking man bathroom.
Guess what I'm gonna do at the club if I gotta pee?
Just be.
Who you talking
Who
about?
gonna stop me? You ain't gonna tell me I ain't gonna do no shit. I know we making jokes, but
That's what
you ain't gonna. Who gonna check me? That's the definition.
That's why you take her with you.
You ain't gonna lie.
If you
I know
want
what you did.
Let me tell you something. If I'm by myself and I gotta go, I'm not sneaking
now
around.
I'm sorry. Now it's a difference at how like if you slip it saying like, yo, I'm that aggressive and I could beat any man and da 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 da, but you too short to shit and you know what I'm saying, you weak.
Compact.
That shows on you. Like, for instance, crying. A lot of people consider men crying as being weak, as being, how you say, gay, as being more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's all about identifying. Some people find crying as cleansing, refreshing. It's water. You know what I'm saying?
Now, we're going to go back to the definition. For those of you who may have just joined us, we're talking about sex and gender and differences. So we're going to revisit these definitions to make sure that we stay on track. This chat room, I guess y'all are either just sitting here listening or y'all are getting a real education because y'all awfully quiet, but y'all in it. So don't go nowhere, but go ahead and
this is a safe space
comment
for
and share.
us. This is a safe space for us. Let's go back to your definition. But it's safe for different opinions. If you don't agree, if you feel like, oh, that's the case, you kids don't teach the sex, whatever, hey, bro, we need all of that. All of that opinion is important, and nobody gonna come.
But
to
you
you
better
and
be able to defend your position.
And you better be respectful because I know where you live, and this is not a studio. We in the hood.
And it's not a game. But we're gonna get back to the definition of gender quickly. I want to read it so that you understand what we're talking about. Gender, noun, either of the two sexes, in parentheses, male and female, just so that we know what we're talking about, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. You said something that made me want to read that definition again. You said something about, you were making a point about if a stud gets up into a dude's face and they're not ready. That's something else you really shouldn't do. Talking about gender and sex, you need to remember that there is still a biological difference. There are some things you just shouldn't do. It's a matter of personal respect first. But second, it's a matter of there is a biological difference. I understand that your gender you may identify with this same gender. I get that. But biologically, boo, I'm about to bruh, sir, Mister.
Mister, and that's cool.
Listen. Don't do that.
Listen, Linda, listen.
Listen. Oh, God, that was wonderful. But, and similarly, women, when you're in a relationship that is heterosexual, don't jump in somebody's face like that.
Even if you're in a homosexual relationship.
I was getting to that.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The reason why I gotta jump on this topic is for the simple fact I done been in a situation where females sat there and they forget that I'm a female. Like, bitch, you can get their hands too.
Right.
I just have to bitch.
Don't Chris Brown me and make me Rihanna you.
Yes.
Like, that's what it came down to. No shade. Everybody knows we making light of the situation.
A little bit, yeah.
No. Abuse is never good. Abuse is never good. But what I'm saying, if you have the right to defend yourself, then you defend yourself. But you get out of that.
And like you said about biological factors.
Yeah, I don't take that into consideration.
If she got a Caesar, I don't care if she come to your house in Tim's. Do not jump in her face because she's still a chick. Both y'all might go to jail, that might be a business, but at the end of the day, it's hard to tell a woman, no matter what they look like, not to put their hands on another woman if you lie that out with somebody's face.
Right.
Also, men, same thing. Just because he might put on some tutu and high heels.
Don't forget that that's a man.
At the end of the day, bro.
He ain't gonna forget.
Bro, he was dead as night grew out like he's still dead.
Bro.
He might be pretty in the morning, but he's grind at night.
Boom. Say that one more time.
He might be Brittany in the morning, but he Brian at night.
Exactly. Not Brian McKnight, but Brian at night.
He might be Brian McKnight too, because I heard a lot of stories about my brother.
Hold on. We can only deal with one celebrity sexual identity.
I was going to say he was supposed to be killed way before New York had to come. You see what I did there? I said New York had to come.
But yeah, we're not condoning domestic violence at all. We're making light of it, but in any situation, gay or straight, regardless of the situation, you shouldn't be in your partner's face. If it gets physical, that's something that you need to work out. But if it is a same-sex relationship, remember something. It's assault before many cops sometimes it's assault before it's domestic violence. It's assault. Because y'all the same sex. Cops will show up, oh, it looked like a fight before they realize, oh, y'all are in a relationship.
Especially if you got a Caesar.
Right. They might throw you in with the dude when you get to the pit.
But that doesn't happen to a couple of home, not to me.
Holla, no, you know
the homie story. Tell the homie
story.
Bruh, like, one of my homies, like, I guess they did some dumb shit, but they was, like, really arguing with their girl and shit. And they got locked up with the niggas. And like she had to keep telling like, yo, I'm not.
I'm a chick.
Yeah, like she had to unwrap her titties and shit.
Well,
that's who you want to be. That's who you perceive. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, and they like,
thanks, Ebony.
You can't get upset. Hey, Ebony, how you doing?
Thanks, Ebony. We appreciate you for moderating the group.
Yes.
Shout out. From Respect 92, y'all.
There was a question from Atiba. She said, "What is cisgendered?" And Ebony answered her, cisgender, denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender corresponds with their birth sex. So basically, heterosexual people who behave heterosexually. Is that what it is?
So what about gay people that's born gay?
No, I'm saying that the definition of cisgender. I'm saying that's what cisgender is, right?
I don't know.
Denoting, I'm gonna read it again.
That's a new word to me.
That's why it can't be the
It is. That's why I'm like, because now we have
Is that
all these
Wikipedia?
Hollies and Mollies, huh?
Is that Wikipedia?
Hollies and Mollies?
No, hold. Let me pause up and roll that back. This is definition that our moderator in the Ebony Moon put in, so I'm guessing she got it from a source probably from online, one of the online dictionaries. Cisgender, denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender corresponds with their birth sex. Excuse me. So a person, if I say I'm male and I do male shit, that's what cisgender is. I'm a man who has sex with women. I identify as male. No. I'm a man who, just not saying that I have sex with a lot of women. Just that's my orientation. I'm attracted to women. That's what cisgendered is. A woman that's attracted to a man and a man who's attracted to women.
That word in the dictionary.
It's a fairly new term. It's a fairly new term within the last 15, 20 years.
I got a call foul on the plate. Not that our moderator is not working diligently. You may be working so diligently that you missed a word in the typing of the definition. I believe that that's supposed to say that does not correspond with their biological gender. I think that's what the thing is. From what I know, and I know some cisgender, it's about, again, you present as a male.
No, she has it exactly right. It says right here, denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender corresponds with their birth sex. Exactly that verbatim what she said. So the people that you talking about, they labeling themselves wrong.
Somebody labeling them wrong, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Somebody gave them that wrong label.
Backwards.
Somebody put y'all on clearance and y'all not supposed to be marked down. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Bro, it's a lot of cisgenders out there.
Okay, now let's clear this up then. What is it that the people who you know are believing it is?
The people that I know are believing that it's like I know a cisgender person who works at the Pride Center.
Mm-hmm.
I know she was born biologically female, but she presents more androgynous. She looks more male, dresses more male, and doesn't use specific pronouns like my, she, he. I believe that's the cis part of the cisgender, like the fluidity part in the middle. But I must be wrong, and they must be wrong too.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody mislabeled. See, that's the problem with labels, people. Somebody gave these people something, and they walking around with it, and it's not. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some serious research.
I can't say that. I just told you, if you live your life, you won't give a damn.
No, it's true though, but just imagine the detriment. It's already bad enough when people think you're gay and you're not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you picked up this label that somebody else is giving you, this cisgender label. You already confused in sexuality, or you're sure of it, and other people don't want you to be sure. You carrying a label that is not even for your package. Like, you're not going to get to where you're going at FedEx if you're mislabeled.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get where you going. That's a lot to carry.
That's true. You feel
it's
me?
hard enough carrying a label that I
You put the wrong zip code on something.
I picked up the label lesbian. I like it. I've been carrying it for a long time. It fits me. I couldn't have the label lesbian. I couldn't imagine, I couldn't imagine carrying a label that wasn't mine or didn't fit me. That's terrible.
Well, you know what? The thing is, there are so many labels now. If labeling is your thing, there's a label out there for you.
If labeling is your thing.
I'm serious, because there's poly and this, and there's a lot going on. And when I didn't come up with this many labels, there were a few, and a lot of the ones that I identified with.
It was three when I got the book. It was 3 labels in it.
Right. No, it was gay, straight, and bisexual. That was it.
Top 3.
Those 3.
Well, it's a new one. It's called Scorpio. Voila.
That's a sexuality?
That's it.
I know some of them.
Hey,
It's a situation.
hey, baby, you have to be born into this. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like the cis. Atiba said, I don't like the cis label. What? Okay, because I don't either, but I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't like it. So can you tell me, Atiba, why it is you don't like it? And maybe it'll help me understand why it is. I don't like it. I think I just like things simple. It means heterosexual to me. Why do you have to call it something else? It means a man. What I've come to understand is a man who is attracted to a woman, or a woman who is attracted to a man. To me, that's the simplest definition. That I don't know why we're obfuscating it. Ebony Moon says,
I don't know who did it.
Yeah, that's the other thing I would like to know.
Who left the gate open?
Y'all out here calling roses sarsaparilla. I don't understand. It seems to me that people are trying to fit in with a label and the definitions thereof. LGBTQIA, and I am going to add another one, 1CC, crisscross.
That's Ebony.
Yes.
I'm done with you.
She said, y'all need another for y'all show for people to call in. We'll have one by next week. We'll have one. We're going to work this out. She said, Atiba said, it's just not necessary. You're absolutely right. I feel the exact same way. We have too many things that mean the same thing with maybe okay, it's the same sandwich but with pepperoni. But we're not gonna call it a turkey and cheese. We gotta call it a turkey and cheese.
It got to get to the meat. That's how you get to the meat.
Hold on. Let's be real. That's what they do. You gotta think about it. That's like.
No, I like that.
Hold on. This is another story. Like what you're saying is basically like what's that commercial when it's like you got spirits. And you got ghosts, you got janitors, you got custodians, you got.
That wasn't the guy.
It's a Snickers commercial.
It's a
Twix commercial.
Twix. Yes. You got undertakers, you got
Raiders,
like morticians.
Something, yeah. Oh my,
So
yeah.
it's like that's like dealing with you got the corner store, you got a supermarket, you got the airport, you got Walmart.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Atiba says it's just to keep us divided. Yeah, that's, you know what? I didn't even think of that.
Keep us fighting.
Because the more labels there are, and let's say we have one person identifies as heterosexual, somebody else goes, well, I'm cisgender. Y'all are talking about the same fucking thing. But you're not gonna join their group and be down with them. And, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on. I was just watching American Dad. That is my cartoon. No lie.
Oh yeah,
shout out to Cartoon Network. Boom. And they had on a recent show. It was Republicans, and then they had the gay Republicans, and then one of the boyfriends was a Democrat, and he's like, I didn't know he was a Republican, and then like they had a whole like they were singing and shit. And but basically at the end it's like, yo, they thought that you couldn't have gay Republicans. Like, what I'm basically saying is, you keep dissecting and keep dissecting and keep dissecting and keep dissecting. Mm-hmm. And like she said earlier, you got all these bags everywhere that you carry that has nothing to do with nothing. Because after a while you be like, well, that ain't me. I feel this way. Well, today I don't feel like fucking with niggas no more. I'm gonna fuck with bitches. Well, today I don't feel like wearing red no more. I'm not gonna be blood. I'm gonna be correct. Well, today I'm not gonna be a female. I'm gonna be a male. Well, today I don't feel well. If I'm a male, I don't feel like having my beard. I'm gonna shave it off.
Well, I am female and I'm not gonna shave my beard. Yeah. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about because I know some chicks don't shave.
So at the end of the day, you got all these bags and you ain't going nowhere. And you're bad
lady. This one. Oh no, it's late in the week. I was supposed to do this up on Saturday. I had a really busy week.
But shout out to
I call them the Silver Streets, everything happening on the bottom or whatever like that.
Atiba says, personally, when it comes to black folk, we need to say, fuck the labels. This black skin already has labels we still haven't overcome.
Come on.
You are absolutely right. And you know what?
You're the real MVP, T. I don't know what they call you in the street, but I'm going to call you Tiba. The real MVP.
That's what they call it.
That's what they call it.
Ebony says, it's like taking a real estate exam. There are two possible correct answers, genders. Pick the best one that fits. What the fuck? I feel like the LGBT community should stress more on individuality and not labels.
Okay, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Since you said on individuality and labels.
She said not labels.
Not labels, right. So how would you feel if you see a stud on stud couple that normally every
stud what?
A stud on stud. Like S for S.
A stud on stud.
Yes, but yet again, we always see a femme on femme.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a film on film we always see, but how would you feel if you seen a stud on a stud? That's also dealing with, that's super gay as they call it
That's
now.
super gay.
Yes, because
It's gay, and then it's gayer because you outside the gay with this gay.
But right, mind you, in the men,
You sound like a whole Cartoon Network show. It's so good. But what I understand because, like you said, for us, you mentioned Brick City, shout out to the Bricks all day.
Say that.
And we talk about geography and stuff like that, about, you know what I'm saying, how we do things over here on the East Coast. East Coast, we don't fuck with that. We really don't want to see the stuff for stuff. That's not what we about. And even, I'll say in Jersey, it's frowned upon more so. Now, you go to New York, you're going to find some things happening. And that's dope or whatever. But if you go to the West Coast, that's traditional. That's not looked at as anything funny. You in San Francisco, you got Emma and Emily. It is what it is.
it's not even just that, because for the simple fact of, if you look at the guys, I went to gay pride in New York, right? I seen bears, niggas all harried up, ponytails on their fucking chest and shit. You feel me? And they all hugged up and booed up and everything. It's not even just Jersey. Like, I know a couple of stud couples, but the only reason why they don't want to be out is because it goes back to their family, how their family see, like, oh, you're super fucking gay.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't just that.
We do have the nerve to be gay
let me
and discriminate against
So it
ourselves,
goes back to labels and you taking upon other stuff that you don't need to, and you having all these bags.
Now, you in answer to your question, this was Atila's answer when you originally asked your question about stud on stud. Atila's answer was two lovers having fun.
Shit, you can watch.
I told y'all she was
That's
an MP.
And then she says this.
No.
And then she says this: the folks who frown upon it are usually two-faced.
Ooh, talk to me nice, daddy.
Okay, so with that, and she says can't be themselves, so they label and point angry fingers, not just fingers. Go comfortable. I can't wait till you get here.
I was gonna say we gotta have an MVP.
Me and your doctor need to have a conversation. I need you driving. I need you him. Yeah, she says can't be themselves, so they label and point angry fingers. Ebony said to answer your question, Scorpio.
Nah.
It wouldn't matter to me if two studs were on each other. They are not on me. It isn't my business.
Talk to me nice.
There you
Talk to
go.
me nice.
And you have it right there. Let's we're going to continue our conversation in another show, obviously, about gender and sex.
Where there will be exclusive content that's even more exclusive than the other exclusive content related to tonight's topic.
Absolutely.
This is my first and last show. Not fun. This is my first, and this won't be my last time.
That's right.
I
We're gonna bring back
enjoyed this.
Absolutely. I thank you so much for coming.
No problem.
You are such a sweetheart, and I thank you so much. She just came right in.
Yo, he's such a handsome guy right now.
This
bro.
sweetheart right here. She came. Let me tell you, she came right in. She was all quiet and everything.
Oh, I do apologize. And this gorgeous chocolate right here.
This thing right here. Let me tell you. But she came right in. She was just so sweet, so nice. She had prettiest smile, and she just came right in, filled right in, got right here. She didn't. She said she was like a little bit nervous, but because it was her first time, fell right in. Could you even tell? No.
Yeah.
So big up to her. What's your if you want people to hit you up on social media?
On Instagram, my name is Respect92, RESPECT92. Get at me. I got mad love for you people. Word is born. If nobody told you that they love you, just remember I love you. That's it on.
Oh,
That sounds like the stuff you closed out with.
Ebony said, "You coming in quotations coming back, Scorpio." Atiba said, "I love the three of y'all." And I will be looking because I am a freak. That's what Ebony said. When we come back with our next
Bro, right now,
gender
Miss
sex
Ebony,
episode.
I'm kind of spoken for, sweetheart. I'm not kind of.
So is she.
Spoken for.
So is she. Yeah, she got it.
So was she trying to watch or she trying to?
She's our moderator.
We'll have more of this exclusive
Yeah,
conversation on our YouTube. You can like and subscribe.
So
I'm ImRealDvs. Y'all see I'm doing my job.
Samara.
Right on up in the middle of here and everything like that.
Hey.
You can like and subscribe to the YouTube ImRealDvs. Thank you again, Respect92 for coming out. All your participation in the show, your energy is definitely live. What else on the way out?
The new email address, if you have any questions, comments, any show topics that you want to hear us discuss, ImRealDvs @gmail. ImRealDvs @gmail.com.
The group ImRealDvs, yo, it be going down.
Cutting up.
It's a situation.
Shout out to all our deviants. I think they out
Right,
with now.
deviants.
I like playing them.
Yeah,
Them
it's
my
us.
Facebook group. Them like my lunch family stuff. I love
Right. We be
y'all.
in
Y'all
it.
are the best.
That's the way up. Yo, when I get up
Don't
in the
miss
morning, I
nothing.
grab
Remember
my
we missed
phone.
the Instagram conversation? Don't miss nothing.
Ooh, Atiba said we need an after dark show.
Tiva.
Talk
Come
to me
through,
nice.
sis.
Come through, T.
Come through, sis.
Hit that inbox, T.
You
That's
don't
that
have to
big-
listen.
that's
You ain't got
that
to tell me
big
twice. I just
shit.
set up a situation at home that
Hey,
y'all.
look. Plus, you know, we got the Joe. We gonna get the quiet storm popping off here.
Mm.
We gonna like the candles. Turn these lights down.
I already got the camera ready. What's up?
Hold on, I do not want to get arrested. Let's go ahead and close this out. Absolutely, I want to thank Ebony for you listen. I'm not coming to interview you about your man, Tamara.
I'll come.
That was
Just show media will show up.
shit.
Oh
No.
I was gonna say I'll take the interview. Always working.
Once again, please share this interview. Please share the show. Please go to the YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You have to subscribe to the ImRealDvs YouTube channel. Please do so. I'll put the link up later. If it's already on my regular page, if you haven't seen it already, the link is up there. Please let your friends know. I'm trying to get to at least 1,000 subscribers. I have 3,000 people on my page at least So I didn't need every third person to do that. Just every third person.
And if you think you're the third person, subscribe.
If you think you're the third, or if there's a question in your head about whether you're the third person, you're the third person. Just go and subscribe. You can turn off the notifications if that's what you're worried about. Whatever your worry is, I'm not going to be always on coming to you, interrupting you at work like, no.
That's what the ImRealDvs group is for.
I got other things to do. So I need y'all to go ahead and like that for me so I can bring y'all some more stuff because I got some, listen.
We got some more stuff.
Yeah. So we about to get out of here. Shout out to Van. I appreciate you. My girl, Just Joy. Come here, Deja. No, come here. This is one of my come here. This is one of my beautiful babies I used to work with. Now y'all might
behind the scenes.
she's not really a baby no more. This is
come on over here. Sit right there.
yeah. Let me spot over for you. As a matter of fact.
Good. There we go.
And this is my Deja. Isn't she gorgeous? So Deja, you need a job, right? Where do you live? What city?
Elizabeth.
You live in Elizabeth? So and what are your skills?
Customer service, data entry, reception, all that good stuff.
Okay, so if you know of anything that Deja might be right up Deja's alley, which is anything, please inbox me or send me an email at ImRealDvs@gmail.com and I will make sure that she gets it.
And I'm gonna tell some more of her business. If it's fashion related, pause.
Oh, she walks
If it's
point.
fashion related, if it's makeup related.
Did y'all can't see all of this? We're gonna bring it back, but it's a whole like 6 foot or something. It's like 6 feet or something. It's 6 feet of stuff. It's one of the babies. You know we love the kids.
Just talk about passion. Places that I know Liz wants to move forward. Like I said, fashion, design, TV, entertainment, makeup. If you do lace fronts real good or whatever like that, or if you don't, dreads, whatever. Holla at this.
All right. So we're about to get out of here. I want to thank y'all for watching. We'll post the video up later on YouTube so you guys can watch and we'll share it so that you guys can share the content. We appreciate it. We thank you. We up here with ImRealDvs, Just Joy, Deja. We got Ben in the room, and I'm DVS Imaad.
See, you just gave me a whole new name. My name is Ben now.
What did I call you? Oh, that's what I called you. I called you Ben. Listen, Ben 32, baby. We out of here.
Yeah.
It's the best show ever. It's the best show ever.
This thing is comfy. I feel like I'm in a movie theater. It was comfy.
That's what we do the after dark. We're gonna turn it down.